Bismillah Rahman Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Anas Sami Khan. I'm going to be the trainer for this session. Today, the training we are going to discuss and the topic we are going to discuss is working at height. And for this session, I would request everybody to be very attentive, all right, because this session is a very critical session. It ignorance or not focusing on the session can lead to major accidents, all right. And we are going to discuss what are the major hazards and what are the major issues when we are working at height, how we are going to save ourselves, what options do we have for our protection, what good practices we can achieve, or what good practices we can acquire to save ourselves. All right, so before moving on to the session, I would like to introduce myself first, and then we are going to take your introduction, and after that, inshallah, we are going to start our session. So my name is Anasami Khan. All right, I am by education, I'm a mechanical engineer, and I've been working in the field of health and safety for past 10 years. I have been giving trainings for the past 3 years. And as for my professional qualifications, I have completed NIBOSH IGC. I have completed ISO lead auditor for 45001 and various other safety qualifications or various other topics. So the reason of my introduction or telling you that I worked for 10 years is that, I have been working in the field of construction. I have been working in the field of oil and gas. I have worked in airport. I am working with different training centers. So the purpose of giving you this introduction is to tell you that, I know things. I know I can give you the references which are relevant to you, which are realistic to you. All right. And most of the time, inshallah, during this session, I'm going to give you examples related to construction so that you will have better understanding of this topic. And we are going to give you some references based on Aramco. We are going to give you some references based on SABIC. So it will be a diverse session. So before moving forward, I would request everybody, each one of you, you should give me a brief introduction. What is your name? How long have you been working? And is this your first training for working at height, or it's your second or third? So starting from Mr. Naveen Kumar, can we have your introduction first? Please
Yeah, sure.
open your camera as well so that we can see you.
Yeah, it's open, I think.
Okay. I
Okay.
am able to see you.
Am I visible and audible?
Yeah, we can hear you and we can see you as well.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Good evening. I'm Naveen Kumar from India. I have completed my BTech in Electronics and Communication. At present, I'm a Operation and Maintenance Supervisor in RC Environmental Control Department, Russell Khair. I have total 10 years of experience in taking care of the air quality monitoring stations, continuous emission monitoring, and the meteorological parameters. I have 5 members team. My main working area is to create and implement the best practice best practice to maintenance vision, strategy, policy, procedure to add and improve the operational performance, plan, organize, coordinate, and supervise daily operation of the maintenance of air quality stations.
Very good, inshallah.
Thank you.
So welcome to the session, and I believe that at the end of
Thank
the
you.
session,
Thank
you will
you.
be learning a lot and you will be gaining a lot of
Inshallah.
things. And
Inshallah.
we hope that you are going to utilize those information or the techniques which are going to be shared effectively
Inshallah.
in your career, inshallah. So next is Mr. Imtiaz Ali. Mr. Imtiaz Ali, can you please open your camera and unmute yourself and introduce yourself, please? Mr. Imtiaz, Mr. Faisal Al Zahrani. Mr. Faisal, Mashari Al Harbi, hello, Mr. Javed Gul,
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Walaikum Salam. So Javed, can you open your camera, please?
Yes, sir. Now is okay.
Yes, okay.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
My name is Jahid Gul. I'm work in environment field since 9 years. Before I worked with HLCO and now I'm part of the SICO. Inshallah, coming soon, increase my experience and doing job on the field, stack monitoring, noise monitoring, ambient, and things we are doing on the field. And this is my first time to join work with Hyde. And sir, I haven't more experience to explain about everything. So this is my simple introduction. So thank you, sir.
Welcome, Mr. Javed, to our session. And again, I hope that, inshallah, at the end of the session, you are going to get a lot of things, a lot of knowledge and a lot of good practices that, inshallah, you are going to integrate in your career. So thank you very much. Now, Mr. Imtiaz Ali, can you please open your camera and give your introduction? Mr. Imtiaz, Mr. Faisal, Mr. Mashari. Yes, Mr. Mashari. Hello. We can see you, but we cannot hear you. Maybe you have to dial in. On the bottom left of the screen, you will see a mic button. You have to click that button and you have to dial in. Join with audio.
Sorry, sir. Maybe he not complete setting, so and send him message typing.
Okay, that will be good. All right, so I believe it would take a lot of time if we get to introduce each other. So I will move towards the training. So I just wanted to know that you guys are working in the evening shift, or you have just completed your duty and now you are attending the session.
We completed our duty.
All right. So
I think
I will take care about it, inshallah, and I will make sure that I don't take a lot of your time, because I know that full day's work is a tiring thing, and I will not take a lot of your work time. All right. So are you able to see my screen?
yeah.
All right. So as for the introduction, as I told you, the training name is Working at Height. And, most of the deaths in our industry, especially the construction or occupational industry, most of the deaths are due to falling from height. All right. It is ranked number 3 in the total number of deaths when we are talking about workplace deaths. So falls or falling from height deaths are on number 3 rank. So again, that is why it's a serious topic. It's a thing that we have to understand, or that we have to look after, and it is the responsibility of the employers and employees at the same time to take care about the safety, and to make sure that the employees are safe. This will be the responsibility of your company or your employers to give you a safe working environment. Or if they cannot provide you a safe working environment, they will provide you with safe working equipment, or they will provide you with the PPEs to prevent you from any kind of major injuries or to be involved in any kind of accidents. The training that you are going to receive right now is also a measure that is taken by your employer or your company to give you training or better understanding of this topic. All right, and again, if you are aware of certain things, you will be able to avoid those things. If there are any hazards and you are not aware, then there is a high chance that you guys can get into an accident. But if I will let you know that if you are walking on this road and there is going to be a major hazard of any kind of accident, so you will be careful because I have made you aware in advance. So same scenarios goes for any kind of hazards in our industry, but right now we are going to focus only on the working at height hazards or falling hazards. All right, so moving forward, as I told you that there will be some responsibilities from your employers like the company, but on the same side, you as an employee also have a duty to protect yourself. The priority is for your safety only. All right, whenever you are working, you are the one who is going to make sure that you return home safely. The company will provide you training, the company will provide you the equipment, the company will provide you the PPE, but again the behavior is only controlled by yourself. All right, even if I provide you each and everything for your safety, if in your mind you are not thinking that I'm going to protect myself, or if, in your mind if you are not desiring that I should return home safely, then there will be no responsibility on the company, or you cannot ask your company that you were responsible. The company will say that we have provided you each and everything, now it was your choice to be either safe or not. So this training is also a part of a process, or it's also a part of an action that your company is taking right now to make you aware. If you are aware that what will be the hazards or what dangers you can face when you are working on height, you will try to protect yourself, you will try to improve your safety, you will try to use your PPEs as they are advised to be used. All right, so falling from height does not means falling on the same level. It means that you will fall from a different level or to a lower level. All right, when you are falling on the same level, let's say you are walking on the floor and there is one wire on your way, and you got tangled into the wire and you fall down. So that falling is, it is called tripping basically. If you are falling on the same level, it is called tripping. But if you fall from height, either it is minimum height, just like 10 inches or 1 feet, it will be called as falling from height. All right, so there will be lots and lots of potential of falling. And before moving forward, can you please describe me what is the process that you are following in your company, or what is the major hazard of fall, like why you are enlisted or enrolled for working at height? What activity makes you go on height? Can somebody tell me? So Praveen.
Yeah, actually, now I have to work on the stack testing exactly. So I have to go to the furnace or the stack of the height. So it's required for me to get the safety training for our safety purpose. So this
Okay.
is the main reason why we are here.
Okay, and other people as well, they are
I think
also.
Javed, yeah, Javed is also Mr. Javed is also same field. He have the 9 years experience on this field. He's working since a long time. So yeah, I hope he is aware about all the safety things,
Mhm.
and the others are
last time last
new
time when,
for me.
when when we did a session with your company, with your other team members, they told me that there was some kind of platform that they have to go on top to verify
Yes.
if the tankers are filled, something related to this. So
Yeah, yeah,
it is the same scenario in your job as well, or it is a different scenario?
yeah. I hope the same. I think.
I think, sir, in the positive leak monitoring, we go on top on the tank. So this is also related with our job.
All right. All right. And your work is inside which, Aramco or
Many
whose
different
Oh,
facility.
Saudi Electric Company?
We are in the stack testing field. So we have to go to the facilities and do their stack testing.
Okay.
Environmental means monitoring of the emission,
All right.
stack emission monitoring like this.
All right. So moving forward, I would I will tell you what are the things that we are going to discuss in this training. First, we are going to discuss the hazards, that what will be the dangers that you are going to face when you are working at height. Then we are going to discuss the fall protection plan or fall protection program, right? Then how to identify hazards, how to evaluate hazards, then how to use the portable ladders, how to use scaffoldings, right? What are the guardrail systems, what are the personal fall arrest systems, how we use safety net systems. These are some of the things that we are going to cover in the training. And I can see in the chat that Mr. Mashari said that I work in the stacks. That's why I joined this course. So welcome, Mr. Mashari. We are unable to hear you and we are unable to watch you as well. But welcome, and you can use the chat section to communicate with us. No issues. So the duration of this training is supposed to be 3 hours, but we are going to wrap it up inshallah in 1.5 hours. And at the end of this training, there is one exam. But again, we are not going to take the exam because, as you told, that you guys are experienced and this training is on an awkward time. It's not a regular time. So we are going to skip the assessment. And during the training, whenever I'm going to ask some questions, I want you guys to interact so that, it's a two-way exchange program. Some things you are going to tell me, some things I'm going to tell you. So in this way, we are going to learn a lot of things. And now moving forward, the first thing and most important thing, that what is hazard? Hazard means anything that has a potential to cause harm. All right. If any scenario, any process, any location, any item, any object that can cause harm to human will be considered as a hazard. So that is the definition of hazard. Now, what is a fall hazard? So any hazard which can result in fall, all right, from a different level will be considered as a falling hazard. All right. So there will be different examples to prove that what is a falling hazard. So I will give you one example that if a worker is walking or working near the edge of a loading dock, and he falls from that dock to a lower level, it can be considered as a fall from height. Or even if you are working on a table, let's say this table is not very high from the floor, it is almost 2 or 3 feet high. So even if you fall from this much height, this is not a very big height, right? It's 3 feet is not a big height, but even if you fall from this height, you can get injured, you can have serious injuries, or you can, you know, you can be forced to not to work for one day, LTI, lost time injury. So again, there will be multiple factors, there will be multiple scenarios, and there will be multiple examples of falling from height. A worker, he can fall from a defective ladder when you are using a ladder, when you are going up the ladder. If the ladder is not in good condition, or if you are holding something in your hand while you are going up or down from the ladder, you can fall. All right. If the ladder collapse, all right, it can cause falling of a person. A person who is carrying some kind of heavy weights and he is going down from the stairway or going up from the stairway, if he falls, that is a falling hazard, right? So anything, any scenario which cause the loss of body balance, all right, in which you are not able to maintain the body balance, which it will result in falling, all right, and that is going to be creating some issues, that is going to be causing some injuries, maybe in some scenarios death as well. So what will be the safe height to work on, or what will be the height that which you require fall protection? What do you think is a safe height for me? If I fall from 2 feet, I will be safe or not? If I fall from 6 feet, I will be safe or not? Any
Not
idea?
safe. Not safe even from 2 feet or 1 feet.
Yes, very nice, very nice. Even if you fall from 6 inches, there is a
Yeah,
possibility that you can get injured. All right, the
exactly.
injury will not be a serious injury, but again, it will be an injury. All right, and any injury which is going to affect you is it's going to affect the production of your company. It is going to affect the morale of your company as well, the workers. If there is no action taken to remove the hazard from your work scenario, then the workers will not feel comfortable. They will not feel confident enough to work. If there is any accident on the site and the company do not react on the accident by trying to overcome the issue which caused the accident, then the workers will not be feeling very good. The worker morale will be very low. All right, they will think that the guy who got injured, he was our friend, and there was no support from the company. So they will think that the same thing can happen with us as well. So that is going to be creating a distance between the worker and the company. So as per American standards or OSHA standards, OSHA is basically Organization of Safety and Health. All right. So Occupational Safety and Health Association, it's an American body which is responsible for all the health and safety procedures and practices in America. In Saudi Arabia, we have GOSI. All right, it is responsible for maintaining all the things that are related to work. All right, specifically the insurance or the people getting injured during work. So as per OSHA, they say that any distance or 4 feet above the ground is going to be considered as a trigger height. Trigger height means that this is not a safe height, or from working from this height, if you fall down, it is going to create some issues, or it is going to give you some injuries or even death in some cases. But as per Aramco, when we are talking about Aramco says that at 1.8 meters above, if you are working on 1.8 meters above platform, then you are required to wear your fall protection. Below 1.8 meters, there is no need to wear the fall protection. This is the Aramco standard. For SABIC standard, it's the same. For Saudi Electric Company, it's 1.2. So again, the standards will be different company to company. The purpose or the concept that you have to understand is whatever the standard is being followed in the company, you have to understand that any height, if you are working on that height and if you fall from that height, it can cause injuries. So you have to understand that where we have to use the protection. All right. So fall protection can be of different types. One protection or one system will be trying to save you from falling. All right. It will not allow you to fall. We call them fall restraint. All right. They will not allow you to fall. And the other option is falling arrest. So fall arrest means that you will be falling, but while you are falling, then the system or this device or your full body harness, it is going to arrest you mid-air. It is not going to allow you to touch the ground. It will be holding you mid-air so that you don't hit the ground. All right. So again, the standard does not matter. It matters. What matters the most is you have to have a concept that if I'm working above a certain height, let's say 4 feet, if I fall down from this height, it can have serious issues with me, or the results will not be very good. So making sure, if you remember in the starting, I said that it is your priority to keep yourself safe. All right. The company will provide you with the equipment. The company will provide you with the trainings. The company will provide you with the PPEs. But again, it is your choice that you have to follow the rules or you have to follow the procedures. So if I will provide you a full body harness and I will tell you that Anas or Naveen, this height, the safe height is 4 feet. So if you are working above 4 feet, you have to wear your full body harness. And Naveed decided that no, I am a Superman. I would not wear the full body harness because this 4 feet is not a big height. So in that scenario, the company will not be held responsible for any injury or for any issue or for any death. So again, the purpose of this training is to make you aware that where do you need this protection, how you are going to save yourself from these type of dangers. Now we are going to discuss that what are the reasons or what are the causes of fall, why people fall from height. All right, so the first reason is to save time or to take shortcuts. When they are in a hurry, they will ignore everything because they are in a hurry to complete their given job. Maybe their supervisor is pushing them so hard, so they will think that, you know, I will not waste a lot of time wearing my full body harness. It's just a 3-minute job. I will just go up on top very quickly, and I will finish the job and I will come back. So this mindset, it has to go. All right, we need to pay attention. We need to take solid care that, you know, if things or rules are made, we have to follow them. So the first reason for falling is if you are in a hurry, there is a high possibility that you can fall. Again, the second reason is if you are not paying enough attention that what you are doing. So again, when we are working, there is not only one thing that we are focusing on. There are lots and lots of factors affecting us, right? It can be your problems at your home. It can be issues, financial issues. It can be your health issues. And again, it can be a pressure of your company management as well, that you need to finish this job in this time. So in your mind, you will be, troubled. You will be focusing a lot on different things and ignoring the most important thing, that is your safety. So if you are focusing on your work and you forgot that after 2 steps, there is a fall of maybe 7 feet or 8 feet. But again, you are so consumed in your job, or you have so much pressure from your supervisor that, you know, you are going to say that, Khalli walli safety, no issues, I have to finish this work. So you have to pay attention as well. It is a major factor in falls or in any accident. Then in which a surface, let's say a platform on which you are working, sometimes those platforms are not strong enough to hold you in a place. There can be a failure in the surface or structure as well on which you are standing. There, in some scenarios, there might be a scenario that the surface on which you are standing, it is wet due to rain, due to some kind of oil spillage, due to anything. So again, that will also cause you to lose your balance, or that will cause you to slip. And if you slip from height, again, it will be causing a fall, free fall. So just watch this video. And after this video, I'm going to ask some questions, and this video is going to give some valuable lessons. So please watch this carefully, all right? And let me know that if you are unable to hear the video as well.
XL 1067, this is Jade with your Monday morning weather update. Things are looking up. Clear skies all week, a cool 77. It's gonna be beautiful.
Ordinarily, Jim went about his day waking up at the same time he usually did, getting dressed, brushing his teeth, saying goodbye to his wife, heading out the door. All of this without thinking much about safety or about how many risks and hazards he faces every day. And he most certainly didn't have any idea that 50% of slip, trip and fall accidents don't even happen at work, but rather at home. Jim would get to work and go through his day, everything as usual. Possible dangers and hazards just weren't on his mind. The usual causes of slips, trips and falls went completely unnoticed to Jim, and therefore slips, trips and falls themselves were not a possibility in his mind either. Things like boxes in the walkway or a puddle on the floor left from a spill, all of those sorts of things, and he'd pass by without any concern. Why should he pay attention to someone else's mess? Well, what he didn't know was that employee exposure to wet floors, spills and excess clutter increased the risk of slips, trips and falls and serious injuries. These injuries include head trauma, back injuries, broken bones and even paralysis. It was clear that Jim also had absolutely no idea that more than 600,000 Americans are permanently disabled from workplace slips, trips and falls each year. In a situation like this, in a split second, a casual step can turn into a treacherous slip and fall. When one's foot bumps into an object in the way, say a tool or a box, or if one's foot drops to a lower level unexpectedly, as when you encounter a hard-to-see step, this usually means enough of a loss of balance to result in a trip. A fall can be much more obvious. Falls usually happen when a person is thrown too far off balance. An example of an opportunity for this would be when standing on a precarious ladder. One can also do what is called a step and fall, where their front foot lands on a surface lower than expected. In this case, one may fall forward or sideways and might even roll one of their ankles. Or there is also the type of trip and fall where one's foot strikes an object which causes their body to suddenly stop. A rise as small as 3/8 of an inch in a walkway or steps can make this type of fall occur. Same level falls are a frequent occurrence, and yet they result in fewer injuries. And then there are elevated falls, which are more rare, but they tend to cause more severe injuries. Oh, but Jim wasn't so worried about these things. He had his own job to do, and he just preferred leaving the cleaning to the others, whoever they were. Jim was always a sure-footed guy. He didn't think about falling because he never had. Of course, he had his share of clumsy moments, but they really never happened at work, and he really hadn't seen anyone else fall either. But falls from risky high elevation areas like loading docks are incredibly common. Over 60% of elevated falls are from less than 10 feet. Loading docks and ramps are frequently congested, and walking surfaces can become wet and slippery, especially in the morning or during the winter. Clearly, they're a hazard, but not for someone as confident as good old Jim. Fall injuries are most commonly fractures, usually fractures of the hip, spine, or forearm. These are also known as osteoporotic fractures. In past years, medical costs for this type of fractures exceeded $6 billion. That's a lot of injuries, and that's just a little proof of how common they really are. Hip fractures are the most serious and cause the greatest number of chronic post-accident health problems. An everyday hip fracture, including all medical care, can cost an average of $20,000 in the first year after the injury occurs. The edge of a loading dock plate can wear smooth and become a slippery and dangerous spot. Accidental moves and backward steps can easily result in a fall from a slippery dock, so it is important to move with caution when working in a loading area. Indeed, it was a day just like the rest, until Jim had his first experience with what we call a near miss. At that very moment, something changed. Something that would stay with Jim for the rest of his life.
XL.
Yes, so what were the major lessons in this video?
The video shows us to be sleep well, pay attention at your work, always even a small height there, take all the precautions, safety precaution. If you are working in the ladder, that support must be taken by the user like this. Always wear a safety shoes that cannot sleep.
Yeah. Very good. Very good. So the first and most important thing was that, you have to sleep well. Everything is linked. So it's a chain reaction. If you are taking good sleep, if you are having good sleep, then your mind will be fresh. All right. You will be more focusing on the job. And one more thing in the video was showed that even if it's not your mess and you see a mess, try to sort it out. He saw that there were some boxes on the floor. There was oil spill on the floor as well, but he ignored it because it was not his job or because it was not made by him. So he ignored the fact. So being vigilant is very important. If you are working at height, even if you find a hazard that is not concerned with you, but it can affect somebody else as well. So it's your responsibility to identify that hazard, or it's your responsibility to report it to the responsible person that, sir, I can see that there is some kind of issue on the floor and somebody can fall from that. So you have to report that issue. And one more thing, in the video, it was said that sometimes people are not aware that something can happen to them as well, because they never see that. Like in your, let's say in your company, there was no accident which was related to work at height. So you guys were not aware because you never saw anybody involved in this accident, or you never experienced this in your entire experience, in entire career. You didn't see anybody falling from height. So the factor of your mind is not going to identify that hazard, because for you it does not exist. So getting the information or getting the training, that is very important, and trying to evaluate the hazard. Identifying and evaluation is very important. Whenever you are going to find a hazard, you have to evaluate as well. How you are going to evaluate? There are two things that you have to look for. First, that what is the probability? Like how many percent there is a chance that somebody can fall from there. The second thing you are going to evaluate is what will be the outcome of it. If you fall from a certain height, what will be the maximum thing that can happen? Maybe broken bones, maybe bruises, maybe some kind of cut, maybe death. Or so that is how you do the evaluation. So in the video, they showed that a person who has a good sleep, all right, he is focusing everywhere, he has good awareness of his surroundings, that what is happening around him, there is a high chance that he is going to identify the hazard, all right, instead of being ignorant. Because if you are not focused, if you are not if you are not paying attention to your surrounding, what is happening around you, not see, every time the accident will not be your cause, or it will not be your mistake, it can be somebody else's mistake as well. So we have to be vigilant, all right. If you find anything, or if you have the knowledge, maybe see, let's say I'm working in the field of health and safety for 10 years. So whenever I'm moving, or whenever I'm standing in a room, and I will identify 5 or 10 hazards because I am in that field. But if I will ask you that please come and stand in this room and try to identify what are the hazards, you will have difficulty identifying the hazards. Why? Because you don't have the exposure. So again, different people have different exposures, different eyes can evaluate different things. There is a high chance that in your field environment, I'm not good because I have no exposure in it. So again, it's a team process. If you identify some hazard and you think that it's not going to affect you, but ultimately it is going to affect somebody else, so you will report it, or you will try to sort that issue out. All right. So there were so many things that were told in this video, but the most important were this one which I highlighted. So now we are going to discuss that how do workers fall. All right. And as you can see on the screen, that there are multiple factors. People can fall from ladders, people can fall from lower levels, they can fall from roofs, they can fall from scaffoldings, they can fall from moving vehicles, they can fall from steel structures, girders, piled stack materials. Whenever you are not on the ground, any type of surface, any platform, there is a high chance that you can fall. So now comes the fall protection program. It is a program which is developed in your company, which addresses the issue of falling. All right. It is included in your health and safety plan or health and safety policy. All right. It is a major part of your health and safety policy if you have the work on height. And I believe you have the work on height, so it will be included in your health and safety plan. What are the things which are included in fall protection program? First thing that is included is, if there is exposure to work at height, if your job requires you to go on height to work, you have to have a fall protection plan. All right. And in this plan, what you will do, you will try to identify and evaluate falling hazards. You will identify the places or locations from which a person can fall. You will identify the situations that from which a person can fall. Then once you identify the hazards, once you identify the places where there is a chance of falling, you will try to eliminate those hazards if it's possible. All right, how you are going to eliminate? The first and most important thing is, if you can substitute your work from height to ground level, it is the most preferred thing. Example is, let's say if there is a part that you need to install on like you need to maintain on height, so what you will do, try to remove this part and take it to the ground level, and then do the repairing or maintenance of it. But again, it is only applied when if it's possible or if it's practical to do. So our first priority is to try to not to work on height. But again, if your job requires you to go on height, then you have to identify the hazards. Like I tried my best that I cannot avoid it. I have to work on height. But now if I'm working on height, what are the things I should consider? What are the danger zones in my job or in my activity? What activity makes me vulnerable to accidents? All right. What is the training that is required if I'm going to work on height? All right. Then what will be the protection equipments that I'm going to use to save myself? What will be the PPEs? How I'm going to maintain those PPEs? All right, we have to be aware of our company's safety procedures and the rules as well. So if you are working on a client side and a consultant side, there will be a list, or there will be a big rules and policies that you have to follow. So the one example I'm going to give you is that if you are driving in somebody else's premises or a project site, you will notice a signboard that says 20 kilometers per hour. So you will follow that rule because you are in somebody else's premises. So similarly, if you are working for somebody else in some other company, you have to follow the rules that are developed or that are implemented in that area. So as one of a rule in most of the companies is, if you are going to work on height that is above 1.2 meters, or let's say 1.8 meters, you have to wear full body harness. Or if the scaffolding tag is yellow and it's saying that full body harness required, you have to wear the full body harness. These are some of the rules that you have to follow, and these rules, or the following of these rules, or the implementation is of these rules is included in your fall protection plan. So what's your responsibility? Everybody in the workplace, they have some kind of responsibility, from top management to each employee. They have to follow some rules. They have their own responsibilities. The employers means your company. They have a responsibility to provide you training. They have the responsibility to provide you with safe equipment. They have the responsibility to provide you with PPEs. Again, as per employees like you have a responsibility to follow those rules. If there are rules, if there is a sign which is saying that please wear full body harness before entering in this area, so you have to follow that rule. You cannot ignore it. You cannot bypass it, that it's a just 2-minute job. Why should I go back to the store and bring the harness and then I will go on the height? No, ignorance or shortcuts will always lead to what do you call it's accidents. So how are we going to analyze and evaluate the falling hazards? As I told you, doing a detailed assessment or even just visiting your working area will let you know that what are the hazards you are going to face here. And who will do this? A person who's qualified. So let's say you have a safety department, they will do a risk assessment and they will develop some rules. Or if you are working in your client's location, or if you are working in some other's location, already the risk assessment would have been done. So they will just place one signage that please wear your full body harness, or working above 1.8 meters, full body harness is required. So these are the rules which are developed after doing the analysis or after evaluating the fall hazards. Important thing for you is you have to be aware of your surrounding. If you are working, let's say, on the edge of a platform, and your job is requiring you to be focusing a lot on your work. So when, let's say, you are going to be working on the edge of a platform for 6 hours, let's say, so there is a high possibility that in the starting of your work or in the morning, you are going to focus that I have to be careful. I can fall behind because it's an open area or it's a dangerous area. But going working for 3 hours or 4 hours, after 3 or 4 hours, the concentration or your focus on the safety will become low, because your mind will adopt that, this is my place, this is my I know this area well, and I am aware that I will not fall. But that thought can lead to dangers, or that thought can lead to falls. So sometimes the hazards keep on changing. Sometimes during construction, there will be different phases of the construction, or sometimes there will be different scenarios. Like when you go on a platform to see that how much the tank is filled. Not every time there will be a tanker down there, right? So the conditions will be changing continuously. So you have to make sure that you are aware, or you have to realize that which is the location from which I can fall, which activity can lead me to falling. All right. So I'm going to just explain or highlight some of the things that are commonly available and which creates fall. So the first thing is holes in the walking area. If there is some kind of big hole, or the scaffolding plank, 2 planks are removed, it can cause you to fall to the next level. Sometimes the walking surfaces are elevated 6 feet or above the ground. In that scenario, any misstep can cause you to fall. Skylights, or there is a big gap in the floor which is left open intentionally for the natural light to come inside the building. So during construction phases, these skylights or dooms, they are open. They are not protected. There is no protection or barricade around it. So people, being careless, can fall into that. Then when the building is in construction, they leave the door section empty, the windows section, it is a big open spaces. People can fall when they are smoking, and they are not realizing that they will try to place their hand to take the support, and that will be an open area. Person can fall from there as well. Excavations, if the excavations are deep enough, so it can a person can fall into the excavation as well. Any edges of a working area or walking area, it can if it's not covered, or if it's not protected, the person can fall. So you are working on a platform, let's say you go on the stacks, definitely there will be some kind of barricade there, or any kind of guardrail that is going to help you to stay in one place. Is that the scenario? When you go on the stacks, you have protection on the sides. Hello.
Yes, sir. We have a,
So there is protection.
yes,
And when you go on the top, you are wearing the full body harness.
yes, sir.
So where do you place your hooks? Where do you tie off? Where is the anchor point? Is there any specific place in which you will hook yourself?
Sir, around on top on the stack and the fence area, the platform, we will hook there. And sometimes we have a lot of activity, like we do the PM monitoring, so we will move here there. So sometimes we not hook, so between the work we're moving, and we pick the things from down to up. So when we pick the things, we hook our the fence area on the top, the platform. So we hook there, and then we sometime activity there to we change the porthole, or we use the proof to up in and we change the angle. So that time we not use the hook. and full body harness we have. So we use all the PPE on the top, and after when we start the sampling, so we put the hook on the safe area.
Okay. And for sampling, you use any kind of device to take the sample, or you will place your
Yes,
hand?
sir. No, we use a device,
Mhm.
DGM, and we have a pump there, so we're collecting a sample from the stack. So there have electricity also, so we also care about this one hazard. So we
Electrical
make
hazard.
protect, yeah, from there, and also protect from the stack where is the gas come outside. So we
Mhm.
cover our porthole and everything. So we make safe ourselves, and using the gas mask for the carrying somewhere have a dust mask. So we need, so we make all safety protect.
Very good. Very good. So see, this is the thing, like your company is providing you all the PPEs. Now it is your choice that how good you are going to use those PPEs to save yourself. Like
Yes,
if you have the full body harness and you are going on top and you are not hooking yourself, so there is no point of using the harness. So
yes,
there are two things, safety culture and safety behavior. So if the behavior of the worker is not towards safety, it can lead to accidents. Like, the company will say that, we provided you everything. Now it's not our responsibility. If you fall down, what can I do? Or
yes,
even let's see, if somebody falls down, the company or safety people, they will make a report that, the PPEs was there and this guy also attended work at height training. So that was the best thing we could do as a company. Now it was this person's choice to hook himself in the anchor point. Why didn't he do it? So again, the responsibility of the accident will come on the worker who is suffered already. Why? Because companies like to avoid it. Companies do not like to be involved or become responsible for somebody's death. So again, make sure that whatever things are provided, you have to use and utilize them properly. And again, if you know what is the hazard or what will be the outcome of that, if you consider that, you will be scared, and once you are scared, you will follow everything, or you will use the safety to the maximum extent. So for controlling the falling hazards and exposure, there is a hierarchy. It's a step by step sequence which we can use to eliminate the hazards. All right. This I'm not going to go in detail because this section is mostly done by the safety department. But being a guy who's going to work on the top, and let's say you don't have the support of your company, then you have to realize and you have to do certain things based on your knowledge. So the first thing, once you identify a hazard, if you notice that this is a hazard, what are the things you are trying to do to control it? First step is to try to eliminate the hazard or to substitute it. All right. Elimination means try to remove it completely, the hazard. If you can remove the hazard completely, it is very good. But again, sometimes it is not practical. It is not possible to remove the hazard because let's say you are going on the stacks on top to take the sample. So you cannot bring the stacks on the ground floor to take the sample every time. So it means that you cannot eliminate it. Every time you have to go there. Or if it's not possible to eliminate, then you will try to substitute it. How you are going to substitute it? By trying some kind of alternate way, any alternate way which is not going to make you exposed to that hazard. But again, if it's not practically possible, then the next step will be using some kind of engineering controls. Engineering controls are those things which are specifically designed to control or eliminate a certain hazard. All right, the example in working at height capacity, the engineering controls are the guardrails, the barricades, which is available on your surroundings. That is the engineering control, because they tried to eliminate it, but they could not eliminate because a person has to go on the height. So what they did is they provided guardrails that whenever the person is working on the height or working on this platform, he should be protected because they have provided a guardrail or a barricade system. Then If engineering controls are not effective, then you will go towards the next step, that is administrative controls. Administrative controls means anything or any policy that is developed by the company to control the hazard. So in this scenario, you will have signages. You will at the entrance of the ladder or at the starting of the ladder, you will see a signboard which is saying that please use full body harness before accessing this area. Or there will be a policy which is going to be described when you join the company, that we have the work on the height, and anyone who is going to work on height has to wear the full body harness, and anybody who's going to go for sampling, he has to use the breathing protection. It can be mask, it can be respirator. Why? Because there are certain hazards. So these are the examples of administrative controls. Then the fall protection equipment itself means the full body harness itself, that in the starting you try to eliminate the hazard, it could not be eliminated. Then you try to control it with engineering controls by providing guardrails. Again, you thought that even there are guardrails, there is a high chance that somebody can fall from the guardrails as well. So you try to develop a policy that you place some signages that full body harness is required beyond this point. Again, people will use the full body harness and they are still going to be falling. So what you did is, in the last thing, you made it mandatory that anybody who is going to use the full body harness and he's going to go on the height, he has to do the 100% tie off. Like, he has to tie off his hooks, he has to use the anchor point. So these are the examples from which how you can try to control any hazard. All right, as in the starting, if you remember, I told you that there will be two types of fall protection. One will be fall restraint. Fall restraint means that it will not allow you to fall. So if you notice in the first picture on the left, this protection, that is not a lanyard. All right, this is just a rope that is going to hold the person, and it is not extendable or it's not moving. It is going to keep the person in one place. Then on the second picture in the middle, you will see a guy who is having a shock absorber or fall arrest system. All right, it will not stop you from falling, but it will not let you hit the ground, or it will not let you have an impact. So it will try to arrest you while you are in the air. It will try to arrest the fall. It will not allow you to fall and hit the ground. It will keep you mid-air. Then there is a third option of safety nets, which is not a practical option, and it is not commonly used in Saudi Arabia. But that is also an option, that even if you try to control the falling and after applying all the control measures, still the person falls down. So there will be a second layer of protection, that is going to be the safety net, which is going to catch the person when he is going to fall. So our Arabic friends, you guys can take the screenshot of it. So when you are going to determine the probability, remember I told you for the evaluation, you have to consider two things. What is the probability and what will be the outcome? Like, how much percent there is a chance of falling, and once a person falls, what will be the result of the fall? So how you are going to determine the probability? So first thing is to check the frequency of exposure. How many times in one day does the person have to go on height? That is the first element. Then once he go on the height to work, how long does he stay there? That is the second element. Then the third element is, what is the exposure? What is the scope of exposure? That while he's working or while he's working on the height, what will be the scope? Why is he on height? What things he has to do while he's on the height? So these are some of the factors which you have to determine to find out the probability. If you understand all these three things, that how many times in one day you have to go on height, how long you have to stay there, and like while you are staying there, what will be your job? So if you combine all of these three things, so you will find out what is the probability. Let's say for your 8 hours duty, you are going to take samples 5 times. So it means the more times you are going on height, it means that the more chances of your accident are there. But if you have to take the sample only one time in 1 month, then the chances of accident is very less because the frequency is very low. Got my point? So again, that is the frequency. So now when it comes to the duration, if you are staying on the top of stacks for let's say 2 hours, so there is a possibility that you are going to be ignorant of the fact that you can fall. Again, if you are just going there for 10 minutes, so in your mind it will be active, or you will be active that I can fall, so I will be very vigilant, I will be very careful. But if you are supposed to stay there for 3 hours, then your protection or your priority or your safety will be the least thing in your mind. You will not be focusing a lot on that. You will be using your phone as well. You will be using the tools which are used. You will be using the device which you use for sampling. All right. And the scope of exposure, again, that's why I asked you, like, if you use the device to take the sample, or you will use some kind of tools or hands yourself to take the sample. So the scope of exposure also, like if you have to be in a certain position to take the sample, if you have to bend down, if you have to reach up, so this scope will also determine that what are the chances of getting involved into the accident. So there are multiple types of fall protections available. All right, the most common one is PFAS, personal fall arrest system, which you and most of the people in Saudi Arabia or in construction, they use this system. It's called PFAS. It is not going to stop you from falling, but it will not allow you to hit the ground, right? It will keep you in mid-air, so you will not hit the ground and hurt yourself, but it will not any stop you from falling down. All right, then there will be a fall restraint system. It will not allow you to fall. Basically, it will be having a certain length, and this length will be decided that if you are in the center of a platform, right side you have 1 meter distance, on left side you have a 1 meter distance. So this belt will be designed like this, that you cannot go on right side more than 1 meter, and you cannot go on left side more than 1 meter, because after 1 meter there is a heavy fall. So it's like this, like it will not allow you to fall, it will keep the leash short. Then there will be positioning device systems. It will not allow the person for a certain distance to fall. Like if you fall, it is going to stop you like in the mid-air. It follows the mechanism of the safety belts in our cars. So if you notice your safety belt, when you are moving, trying to open it, it will open freely, and maybe it can extend up to a longer size. But the moment you are going to jerk, it is going to stop in that location. It is not going to allow you to pull it more. And the moment you are going to release your pressure from the safety belt, it is going to go back again. It's called retractable system, right? Then there will be guardrails, permanent structure that is designed specifically to keep a person from falling. Then again, there will be safety net system, which is not used in Saudi Arabia. There will be warning line systems as well. There is a device in which you will set parameter that if a person is moving, let's say 1 meter in a certain distance, so after 1 meter, this device is going to start an alarm that you are on the edge. If you move more, you are on the risk of falling. Then in the last, there is a safety monitor system as well. A person is staying on the top, just acting as a security guard or a watchman. He is going to monitor everybody, and he is going to inform everyone that, brother, you are going in the danger area, please come back. There is a high possibility that you will fall down. Other methods roof works, if you are working on the roofs. This is the picture of a skylight, which I was discussing 3 or 4 slides back. So this is a skylight, which is the purpose of this skylight is basically to get the sunlight inside the building. So in the construction phases, this section is left open. So as a good practice, you can do the barricade, or now the people are using the safety nets. Sometimes only wooden plank is used to cover this. But again, The purpose is to keep you away from falling. You can use the barricade as well. You can use the guardrails as well. When we talk about evaluation, if you are working on height, you have to evaluate like how much distance do I have. Like if I move to my right, after 5 steps, there is a fall. If I move to my left, after 5 steps, there is a fall. So in your mind, when you are on the top of the platform while you are working, first thing you do is you analyze or you assess that what are my safe zones. And you have to keep that thing in your mind that whatever happens, I'm not going to take 6 steps towards my right because I know that only 5 steps are there for me. The 6th one will be causing me to fall to a next level. All right. Then you also have to understand that how many people are exposed to that. Let's say if you are not going alone on the top, then there will be 2 people who are on the exposure of height, like they can fall down. And what is the task, what I have to do in my duty on my daily basis, or what is the scope I have to do when I'm on the height. So if you whenever you are working, you might have heard that plan your jobs before working. Do a detailed plan, then start your task. Why planning is important? Because planning will make you aware of the situations. It will give you what are the danger zones, where should I have to control myself, where do I have to use the PPEs, where do I have to use the full body protection, how I'm going to secure myself, where I'm going to place my hooks if I'm going up. Let's say if there is a platform which does not have any place to place your anchor point or your hooks, then what is the purpose of wearing this full body harness? So if you, before the start of work, if you plan your activity that I have to use this ladder, then I have to go on top, then I have to stay there for a while, then I have to do the sampling, then I have to come back. And this activity step by step, you will be able to identify that in which area or in which section of your activity you will be exposed the highest to the hazard. So again, plan your jobs, all right, identify the hazards, try to evaluate those hazards, and try to put the control measures. If you are the one who is going there for the first time, mostly the safety people are there. The job you are going to do is the JSA is approved by the client first. They have identified, they will ask you for the risk assessments. People from your company will get all the documents approved. They will get all the method of statements approved, that how our person, how our team members are going to go on the stacks to get the sampling. Once this method is approved, they will do the analysis of steps that you are going to take for sampling. So once these steps are identified, they will find out that how many hazards you are going to face. And in the toolbox talks or in your team meetings, somebody is going to convey those hazards to you, that brother, if you are going on that certain stack, there is one step of the ladder missing. So you have to be careful about that ladder. Wherever there is an issue, this issue has to be conveyed to you or to the people who are going to work there. Right? So make sure that you plan your job, make sure that you have good knowledge of your surroundings, make sure you know what are the emergency procedures. If somebody falls down, who should I call? If somebody falls down, how much time do we have? Before going to the height, just verify your full body harness, your equipment is safe, if it's free from any kind of damage, if it's free from any kind of wear and tear. All right, the quality is very good. If the monthly inspection has been done on the device, right? So when using a full body harness, you have to make sure that where will be my anchor point. If I'm going on the height, where I'm going to place my hooks, how I'm going to use the connectors. The full body harness has 3 components. All right. First one is the harness itself, FBH. Then on the back side, you will have D ring. All right. This D ring is basically the connection point of your lanyard. The hooks and the lanyard itself, it's a different component. It's not a part of your full body harness. It's a separate part. Then you will connect this part to your full body harness. Ultimately, all together, these things will be called as fall arrest systems. All right, full body harness itself is not the fall protection. Full body harness is not the fall arrest systems. Full body harness combined with lanyard, combined with connectors, then it is going to be called as a fall arrest system. All right. The lanyards will be different. Some lanyards will be shock absorber type. Some lanyards will be only like, restrained, like they will not allow you to fall down. So you have to select how to use the connectors. You have to make sure the harness that you are going to use is fit for your body. It's exactly the size of your body. It should be comfortable. Maybe there is a chance that you have to wear this for 6 hours in a day. So it needs to be comfortable. It has good padding so that you don't have any rashes. All right. It gets very hot in Saudi Arabia. So it should not be that much tight. It should be tight, but it should not be that much tight that you are unable to move. There should be a comfortable gap between the harness and your body. Then you have to understand that how I'm going to connect the lanyard with the full body harness. Remember one thing, the people in construction, they do this very commonly. The hooks attached with the lanyard, they tie a knot to shorten them. It's a very bad practice, and I know that most of the people do it. So have you seen anybody do it? Placing knots in the lanyard. Hello.
Yes, sir. We are active, but I have little bit net issue. So, yeah.
So what happens when you place a knot? The strength of your harness is decreased by 50%. If you place a knot on your lanyard to shorten it or whatever reason, you are decreasing the strength. You are trying to reduce the capability of this device. So do not alter, do not modify your harnesses, right? Take good care of your harness. Whenever you are trying to store your harness, make sure that it is stored in a dry and away from sun. All right. The sun, mashallah, in Saudi Arabia, it destroys everything. So you have to keep it away from the sunlight, because these lanyards are mostly made up of a mixture of polyester and nylon. So these items are synthetic fibers which are affected by sunlight. So it will be, the strength will be reduced. If you are using any kind of, let's say, if you are using WD-40 or any kind of flammable material or painting materials, these materials should not come in contact with your harness. If there is any kind of paint or if there is any kind of WD-40, let's say, or any thinner on your harness, it is going to reduce the effectiveness. All right. You have to understand that when we have to use a de-acceleration devices are just like a pulley which serves the purpose of trying to slow down your fall. Whenever you are falling, there will be very high speed when you are going to fall. So this device makes sure that you are falling very slowly. All right. Then you have to understand where we have to use the hooks, where we have to use the anchorage points. What will be the perfect lifeline for us? There is a lifeline. Lifeline means it's a metallic wire which is connected at two ends to try to provide you anchor point. If in certain areas and certain situations, there will be no point where you should put your hooks. So in that scenarios, the companies or the engineers, they will design a lifeline so that if you are working there, you are going to use that line to place your hooks on them. All right. So the use or the selection of lifeline, it is also a very important thing. But again, I'm not going to go into the details because you guys are not the one who's going to decide about the lifeline. It will be the managers or the safety engineers who are going to calculate the use of lifeline. Then you have to also understand that if you are not going to place the hook over your head, or side to the body, there is a high potential of swinging. Once you fall down, if the hooks are not aligned with your body, if they are placed somewhere else, so there is a high possibility that when you fall, you will be swinging. And when you are swinging, you are going to hit your head or you hit your body to the structure, and that is going to be injurious, or that can cause broken bones as well. So you have to make sure that whenever you have a possibility, try to put the hooks above your head. That is the first priority. Try to put the hooks above your head. All right, not in front of you or not on your body level. If it's possible practically, try to place them over your head. And the second priority is always the alignment of the hooks should be in line with your body. Let's say you go on the top, all right, you place the hook in a certain place, and once you were working, now you started to move. So the hooks remain in the first place where you place them, and now you move, let's say 5 feet away or 3 feet away from the anchor point. So the moment you're going to fall, it is going to create a pendulum effect like this. And when it's happening like this, you know what will happen. You are going to struck to the structures or whatever the things are available there. You are going to hit your head, you're going to hit your elbows or legs, and this can result into broken bones or
Serious injury, it may be.
serious injuries. It can cause fractures, it can even cause death as well. So
Yeah.
one more thing to consider is that can anybody answer me that if you fall and you are being suspended in the air, just like this person is right now in the picture, he's hanging, how much time does he have to be rescued? Any idea? If you fall down from height and you are saved by your full body harness and you are now hanging, just like this guy in the picture, how much time does you can stay hanging like this?
No idea.
No
So-
idea about it, sir.
45 minutes.
45 minutes.
45 minutes is the maximum limit a person can hang like this. Why? Because if you notice, just a second. Can you see my mouse?
Yeah.
If you notice this section,
Yeah.
his whole body weight is here. And these straps, they are not allowing the blood to flow in his lower body. And this weight and this suspension is going to create uncertainty in the blood flow. All right, the blood will not be able to move in entire body. The circulation will be disturbed. And what happens when the circulation is disturbed? The body or the brain does not get the oxygen. And when the body and the brain is not getting enough oxygen, the person will not be able to live anymore. He can go into the state of coma as well. So we have the time of maximum 45 minutes. So the purpose of telling you this is that not only deciding that we have to wear a full body protection, we also have to decide that how we are going to rescue a person if he falls down. There should be a plan to rescue as well. There should be a portable, we call it man lifts. Man lift should be available there. Or if the man lift is not available, then there should be rescue equipment available so that a person can go and hook this guy and put a carabiner in his harness, and he will cut his harness from the top, and this guy will be stuck to the rescuer, and then they are going to pull him up. So again, you have to make sure that you have a rescue plan as well, not only giving the people the harness itself that khalas, wear this and you will be saved. Once the person falls down and he is hanging from the harness, there should be a rescue plan in place as well, that if a person falls down, how are we going to save him? So there can be multiple factors, again, depending on the client or depending on the company. So these are some of the things that you have to consider. So now we are going to discuss the anchorage. So if you notice here on the picture, the yellow point, that is called the anchorage point. Sometimes we are asked to put the hooks in whatever structure that is available already. But sometimes when there is a high frequency of exposure, like on daily basis, somebody has to go there on height to work, then specific designs are made to be placed there for the people to hook their to do the anchor. All right, this is called anchorage point. All right, it has to be see, one more thing, the anchor points, your full body harness, the lanyards, and the carabiner, the connectors which you use for connecting yourself, all have to be at least 2.5 tons strength capability. Like they should have this capability of 2.5 tons. Now there will be a question in your mind that a person mostly he averages like 100 kg. So why do we need the 2.5 tons strength? Because whenever you are falling, the gravity will also be in place. All right. So if you are 100 kgs, it does not mean that when you are falling, you will be exerting only 100 kgs. No, there will be a jerk. There will be external forces that are applied. So altogether, it ranges around 1.8 to 2 tons when a person falls. But for a reserve, as a reserve, we consider it 2.5 tons. So that the maximum, let's say if a person is not 100 kg, he's 160 kg. So we have reserve as well. So remember one thing, all the things that you are going to use for your protection have to be at least 2.5 tons strength tested. All right. This case will also be for the lifelines. This case will also be for the anchor points. This case will also be for your lanyards and for your full body harness as well. So anchorage connector is a place in which you are going to place your connector. All right. Attachment point will be the point in which you are going to connect your lanyard from your full body harness. All right. So connectors, there will be two types of different connectors. One will be the D hook, which is available on the back of your harness, and one will be the carabiner. All right. If you can see here on the right side, this is a carabiner. Again, this has to be strength tested around 2.5 tons, or in British standards, you can say 5,000 pounds. So these are some of the devices which are to be inspected as well. So once you are going to use your harness, you have to inspect it before use on daily basis, because we cannot risk our life. If there is a minor tear in your harness, the strength can be reduced, and in case of any fall, the results will not be very good. So you know how to wear your full body harness?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. We know.
So what happens with the hooks? Where do you place your hooks once you are not using them?
So we put there the front side have a D mark, so we hold there our hooks.
Okay, you're right, but like you just place them there directly here, like here.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
They are hanging on your sides, the lanyard. All right. So it can be done, but it is dangerous. This hanging lanyards can get stuck somewhere. It can also get into your feet while you're walking, while you are moving up the ladder. It can get stuck somewhere.
Yeah, must be sometime on the top when you go, you need to care about this one. And you need to hold this one properly. Sometimes you go on by monkey ladder and somewhere iron come outside and something. So you need to be care also. First, you need to check the monkey ladder condition. So how is there? You must be around, check the safety full. After then you need to walk up.
All right, that's a good thing. So I will try to demonstrate. I don't have a harness with me, but if you have two hooks, lanyard or single hook?
Then yes, sir.
No, 2 hooks.
Yes, sir. 2 hooks.
So imagine your lanyard like this. This is the starting point, and this
Yes, sir.
point will be your 2 hooks, all right?
2 hooks. Yes, sir.
So imagine this part coming from behind,
Yes.
right? So what you will do as a good practice is this part, all right,
Yeah.
it will stay here. And these are, if you cut it from center, let's say, imagine. So
Yeah,
this
yeah.
one, so one part will go from here
Yeah.
under your arms, and you will move it and bring it from here, and then you are going to place it here.
Exactly.
So in this way, this is not going to be free falling and free hanging. So the other section, you will also place it under your arm and move it behind your back from here, and you are going to hook it here. So in this way, you will not be having any loose end which is going to be, fixed or get stuck in the monkey ladders or in any part that is, outrigged, that is going to create some kind of hazard for you. So while moving on the ladders, what is the good practice? Moving up and down the ladder, what safety rule do we have to follow? Any idea?
Sir, about ladder, we haven't idea. Normally, we are using
Climb.
up down. Yeah.
So we call
Climb
it-
one by one. If someone is climbing, just wait, stay away. That is the first safety precaution. And by using monkey ladder.
Yes. Have you heard of a term 3 points contact?
3-point contacts.
So it's a term, it's called 3 points contact, which means that every time you are going up or down the ladder, you have to maintain 3 points of contact. 3 points of contact means your body's 3 points should be connected with the ladders, either 2 hands
Yes.
and 1 feet,
Yes,
or 2
yes.
feet and 1 hand.
Yes,
So
yes.
it means that you cannot carry anything in your hands while you're going up the ladder.
Exactly.
So you guys carry something with you while
No.
you're going up
Yes, sir. The same thing we are doing.
in your hands, or it is in the bag, or it's in the some kind of carry pouch.
Not by hand, I hope by shoulder, means carrying by back.
Very good. What happens is, if you don't have the 3 points contact, then there is a high possibility that you are not going to maintain the balance while you are going up and down the ladder.
Exactly. By if we don't have 3-point, you can't balance. Yeah, exactly. Exactly,
And
we are
3
doing
points-
the same.
Yeah, and why we call it 3 point? Because it can be 4 points as well, but you have to move as well. So whenever you are going to move to the next level, you will release one hand to go on the next level,
Exactly.
the next run.
Our leg, our hand will move. Then we go.
Exactly. So your both hands will be there, and you will release one of the feet to go on the next step, and the second feet will come there. Then again, at all times, 3 contacts, 3 points will be in contact with the surface of the ladder. All right, that is the safe way of climbing the ladders. All right.
Yeah, yeah.
So for the lanyard can be of different types. There will be flexible rope as well. There can be wire ropes. There will be straps. There will be flexible straps as well. So if you can notice here on the red one, I believe this is the one which you guys are using in your company.
Yes, sir.
So it can be of different types. All right. The purpose of the lanyard is to provide you with the extension, and it is the purpose. The second purpose of the lanyard is to stop or slow down your fall. It is having energy absorbers. If you notice in this picture, the left one, it has elastic or a spring inside it. For the right picture, the yellow one, if you notice here, it is folded. All right, you are going to use this one, right? So it is called rib stitch lanyards. What happens is this lanyard is folded and it is roughly stitched. So what happens is when you fall down, each step will open but with slow speeds. Like the stitching will rip off and it will open like this. Then the second level will open like, like this. So it will open step by step. Each step will, the stitching will break and it will open. The length of this lanyard when it's opening, it will be 1.5 meters. Only the folded part. So why there is a stitching and why it is trying to stop or control your drop?
To prevent injury, means
Yes.
by
prevent any jerk or to prevent any impact on your body. So the fall is going to slow down, or it is going to absorb the energy, or it is going to absorb the shocks. All right, so it serves as a purpose, just like we have the suspension in our car. These devices or these lanyards, they have shock absorbers in them. So it will try to slow you down so that your body will not feel the impact.
Exactly.
So swing falls, that is the example of a swing fall that I was telling you about. If your anchor point is not above you, can you see the mouse?
Yes.
All right. So if you see that this anchor point is up away from the guy, it is supposed to be exactly on top. So if it's on the top exactly, once the guy falls, he will be hanging straight, no issues. But if it's on the side, this will happen. In the picture, if you can see, this guy will swing and he will struck any structure that is going to cause major injuries.
Yeah.
So always try to anchor above your head and aligned with your body. Even if it's not possible to put the anchor point above your head, then try to anchor it into a structural beam or anything that is available that is strong enough to hold you. But make sure that your body is aligned. If you are moving for your work, let's say 1.5 meters on the left, remove your hooks and place there. Again, that comes with the practicality. Like if it's not practical, like if there is only one point for putting the anchor, then we cannot do anything. But if it's possible that you can remove the anchor from your previous location and once you move, you will change the anchor point, then always you have to do it. But if it's practically not possible, let's say there is only one place from where on which you can place your anchors, then we cannot do anything. But if it's possible to change the location of your hooks, always change the location of your hooks while you are moving. And the purpose of giving you two hooks is that do not open both hooks at the same time. You have to remove one hook, place it into your new location, and then once you place it to the new location, then you come back and remove the second hook. So it's a multi-layer. So in case, let's say if you're trying to move or trying to change your position and you are trying to remove the hooks, both hooks you remove, and at the same time you fall down. So there will be no protection. But if you left one hook placed in the original place and you remove the second hook, the new location, and during this process, if you fall down, you still have one hook that is anchored. So that is multi-layer safety. Self-retracting lanyard. I'm not going to go in details. Again, it's not a common thing in Saudi Arabia, and they work on the same principle as our car seat belt. If you are trying to open it, it will continue to open, but the moment you are going to give one jerk, it will freeze in the same location. And the moment you are going to put it back, like release the pressure, it's going to go back or retract into the original position. This this device is mostly used for the roofers, the people who are working on the rooftops of houses, because you know the houses, especially in America, the houses roofs are tapered. It's not straight like Saudi Arabia. The roofs are tapered, so the people, they have very difficulty, you know, working on the roof. So this device is mostly used for construction of houses in America, but time to time maybe there is a possibility that you are going to be introduced to this thing as well in Saudi Arabia. This is called a rope grab. This is attached on the lifeline. It is designed to move only in one direction. All right. So if you are going to use this, you will place this on the lifeline and you will only move it in one direction on the top. Same working principle. It can move freely on top, but the moment you are going to try to pull it back, it is going to hold its place, resulting that if you are connected with the rope grab with your harness, so if you fall down, it is going to work as an anchor point. All right. This is used when you are using a vertical lifeline. All right. Vertical lifeline will be this one. So if you are going to a height which is vertical, then there will be a vertical lifeline placed. Why? Because there is no anchor point available for you to hook yourself. So the engineers or the safety people, they will design a lifeline in those areas where you don't have any place to hook yourself, or if you don't have any anchor points. Then there will be horizontal lifelines, as you can say, understand from the names. Vertical lifeline will be standing upward, and horizontal lifeline will be on the horizontal side, like from right to left. Vertical lifeline will be up and down. So some safe practices. What are the good practices for using the fall arrest systems? First thing is, do not tie any knots in your rope lanyards and lifelines. Knots can reduce strength by 50%. I told you this before as well. Do not tie lifelines or lanyards directly to I-beams. If there is a structural support or a structural member of a structure, any, you know, I-beams or girders. You know what is I-beam or girders? The structural beams, metallic. So do not try to place your lifeline or anchor point directly on top, because it can have a cutting effect, because it's metal, it has sharp edges. So the moment you are going to fall down and there is going to be a high impact on this lanyard, the edges of the beam are going to create some kind of cutting effect, which is going to reduce the strength by 70%. All right. Then when you are using a horizontal lifeline, it is not fixed as like full tight. There is some kind of leverage, or there is some kind of sag angle. We call it sag angle. If it's loose, it is going to be flexible. If it's extremely tight, then there will be no tension. There will be high tension. And if you fall down, your body will have the same jerking effect. But if we manage to put some kind of looseness or leniency in your lifeline, if you fall down, this lifeline is going to give you a shock absorbing effect, because it is going to act as a spring, right, which is going to reduce the impact on your body. So before connecting the anchor point away from your body, make sure or think about the swinging action. Because if you can see in this picture, again, the guy is standing somewhere else and he's hooked somewhere else. So if he falls down from here, it will be a swinging motion. Then remember one thing, that once you are falling, all right, the extension required, like if your harness is there and once the harness opens, the full length will be 18 feet. So you have to make sure the point where you are trying to put your anchor, you have 18 feet below. If you don't have 18 feet below you, before the opening of this harness, you will hit the ground. All right. And this 18 feet does not mean that 18 feet, the rope is going to extend 18 feet. The lanyard is 1.5 meters long. when the shock absorber opens, it is again 1.5 meters, so it's 3 meters. But if your body connected with the harness, average people, they are 5 to 6 feet. So altogether, 3 meters plus 5 feet. So it will become 18.5 feet. All right. So
Yeah.
you have to understand that, let's say if your company or next time your client is going to ask you that on 1.8 meters, place your hooks. So you have to tell them that, brother, the extension of this lanyard itself, it's 3 meters. But again, I'm not going to tell you that you should start arguing with your clients or you should argue with your safety people. But you have to keep in mind that, a safe distance, or in order to work effectively, this harness requires 18 feet in total. The point from where you are hooked till you are hanging, it is 18 feet. So let's watch a video, and after this video, we're going to wrap up this training, and you will have an idea that what is the benefit of using this full body harness. Yes, guys. What would happen if they were not tied off, or they would not have did the anchorage properly?
They might be fall down and have a serious injury.
Yeah,
and even they may die because
exactly, it was very high. I mean,
high,
like
yeah.
it was around 10 meters. So
Even
using your harness is very important, and not only wearing the harness, you have to tie it off. So I
yes,
know people, to be safe from safety people, they just wear the harness and they just go on top, so that safety guys will not give them the violation. But remember that you have to place your hooks as well. If you are not placing your hooks, there is no point of wearing this full body harness. All right. And I know very well because I have been a safety manager for 5 or 7 years. I have worked in Aramco. So I have seen a lot of things that people do to stay away from the eyes of safety people. So the people are not understanding the importance of the things that are provided by the company to save them. All right. So that is going to be all. All right. This last section is for safety net system. I'm not going to describe it because we are not using this system in Saudi Arabia. This training is developed in America, and that is a common practice in America. But in Saudi, like, we don't use the safety net system. Maybe the people in circus, they use it, but not in the construction. So that's all. Thank you very much, everybody. And if you have any questions, any confusion,
Thank you.
Be happy to answer.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So much excitement when I said that. That's all. Everybody wants to leave.
Yeah,
sir.
Imtiaz also give reply after then when you say thank you. Bye-bye.
can we have this PPT with us, sir? Can you
Actually,
share?
this PPT is licensed to our center only, so we cannot share it. But I will try to share the handouts with you, the student material that is allowed to share.
Yes, please share with us so that we will study also later.
All right. So before leaving, can you please just open your camera so that we can take one screenshot? Yes, Mr. Faisal, Mr. Mashari, Albara, Billa focal camera. Maybe they just joined and not listening, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah, he's here. Welcome.
Yeah, welcome.
Inshallah, Mr. Mashari. Welcome. Good to see you. So, ready, guys? I'm going to take the picture.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's done. Thank you very much. Best of luck. If there is any question, okay, I'm going to take it again. Done. So thank you very much. I believe it was a good session, and if there is any question, any confusion, I'm here. I will be happy to answer your questions. And thank you very much for your time. I know it's an
Thank you,
awkward
sir.
time. So, all right, shall we end it here?
Yeah.
Okay. Take care. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum.
It was a great session for us and beneficial in future. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Welcome.